After the planet has been overrun by zombies, the only viable place for people to live is this base situated in the center of the desert. At the start of the movie, Alice wakes up confused in a mansion bathroom, not knowing where she is or how she got there. As she walks out into the hallway, she sees a mysterious and dangerous room behind a door. Memories from the past frighten her as she touches the wall, but then a laser beam suddenly appears, forcing her to jump to the ceiling to avoid it. Alice discovers she is in a hospital and runs down the corridor with a medical gurney, only to have it split in two by a descending glass screen. Despite her injuries, she continues cautiously, but a mine suddenly rises from the floor and injures her fatally. Men in protective suits approach her, and Dr. Isaacs orders them to take samples of her blood and dispose of her. In a deserted area, an ordinary house is seen, and suddenly men in protective suits emerge from an underground lab carrying Alice's body. The men dump her and dozens of other failed clones into a trench. The real Alice's whereabouts are unknown, and the entrance to the secret lab is enclosed by iron bars in a lifeless desert. Outside, a mob of zombies attacks the fence. The Umbrella Corporation's employees believed they had control over the T-virus, but the experiment went wrong, and it spread throughout Raccoon City, despite the efforts of science, dentists, and the military. Within weeks, the United States falls victim to a virus that is soon spreading worldwide. This highly destructive virus not only kills humans but all life on Earth. Rivers, lakes, forests, and fields are turning into barren wastelands. Survivors have to keep moving as staying in one place is too risky. Among these survivors is Alice, who travels across America in search of food and fuel. While exploring an abandoned building, Alice encounters a woman holding a baby, only to realize it is a doll. Suddenly, a family of marauders attacks her, and one of the men begins to assault her. However, Alice fights back and strikes him hard in the leg. Alice is escorted outside by a girl, but the family surprises them, causing Alice to faint. When she wakes up, she finds herself in a room full of cages containing aggressive infected dogs. The family's sick idea of entertainment is to release the zombie dogs on Alice, but they don't know what they're getting themselves into. Using her exceptional abilities, Alice defeats both the dogs and the marauders, and continues on her journey. Meanwhile, a group of survivors including Claire, Carlos, LJ, Betty, and Otto travel through the desert in a convoy, addressing concerns as the number of zombies on the highway increases. The Umbrella Corporation's science department, led by Dr. Isaacs, reports to Chairman Wesker on the biological threat level in the area. Monsters don't eat food, but crave human flesh for years, says Isaacs. We'll be trapped underground for a while. Wesker orders Isaacs to update him on the Alice project. Isaacs claims that Alice's red fluid has antibodies to make a serum against the T-virus effects. He plans to domesticate zombies as unpaid labor. Management is skeptical, but Isaacs needs original Alice for research. Despite this, Isaacs is told to continue his work because Alice is the corporation's primary project. The chairman disappears post-meeting, and it's later revealed they were just holograms. On her journey, Alice shoots a zombie with her crossbow while heading to a gas station, only to find it's been out of fuel for some time. Entering an abandoned store with caution, Alice finds a decomposing body and picks up an open diary before leaving. As she exits, Alice sees a raven eating the zombie she killed earlier. Claire Redfield's group takes a break at an empty motel on their journey. Mikey tries to contact other survivors but gets no response. Carlos and LG search the rooms with their weapons ready and stay alert. LG is attacked by a zombie in the hallway but manages to kill it, but he gets bitten by another zombie and doesn't tell the other survivors. In the underground lab, Dr. Isaacs injects a serum into an infected zombie, which displays cognitive abilities but becomes uncontrollably angry and kills the scientist while Dr. Isaacs watches. Otto hands out canned food to the group in the desert, who are low on supplies. The group lacks fuel, but Carlos is optimistic that they can still run the trucks on the road. Carlos installs cameras and motion sensors to monitor the perimeter, which is effective according to Mikey. Alice ignores a signal from another group and reads a diary revealing that Alaska is free of infected individuals. Dr. Isaacs activates a new clone of Alice, disrupting the real Alice's sleep with memories of her escape from Raccoon City. Alice and her clone both awaken simultaneously, causing objects to float in the air, and Isaacs to suspect psionic activity from the real Alice. Alice is crossing the desert while a group of survivors rests in their vehicles. Card hears a strange noise and finds an aggressive bird outside. The team realizes they are surrounded by infected ravens and secure their windows. They try to escape, but one car gets stuck and LG and Betty rush to the bus. The bus crashes and the crows attack, leaving the survivors trapped inside. Claire urges Carlos to take action and rescue them. Claire and Carlos transfer people from a bus to a truck, but they are attacked by infected birds, resulting in casualties. They use a flamethrower to defend themselves, but it goes out of control. Carlos and a girl are trapped in the fire, but Alice stops the flames with her supernatural powers. Alice then creates a massive fire to save the group, exposing her abilities. The White Queen informs Dr. Isaacs about Alice's powers, which astounds him. Alice's clone falls short of her original's capabilities during testing. Meanwhile, Alice regains her senses after a battle with birds. The group bids farewell to the fallen, and Carlos introduces Alice to Claire as the one who brought them together. Alice confides in Carlos that someone was following her, so she stuck into the Umbrella base and obtained the satellite's trajectory data. However, the satellite pinpoints Alice's location, and she realizes she needs to be more cautious. Claire thanks the girl and urges her to leave to avoid endangering the team. Dr. Isaacs wants to capture Alice for his research and orders Chairman Wesker to form a strike team, but Wesker hesitates and wants to discuss it in a committee meeting. The doctor is worried about losing Alice, but must wait for her identity to be verified by the corporation's computer. Alice shares her Alaska diary with her group, suggesting they head there as it's the only uninfected location. Claire is unsure, but Carlos supports the idea, believing it could provide the group with new hope. The group unanimously agrees to go, and Claire hopes they'd made the right choice. The group replenishes their food and fuel supplies before embarking on a lengthy journey. Claire suggests Las Vegas, as small towns don't have anything useful. Meanwhile, Dr. Isaacs creates a false order, giving him control over the operation, leading to the Umbrella Corporation helicopters pursuing Alice. LG's zombie bite worsens, but he denies the cause. The group of gurus arrived in Las Vegas, leaving behind a deserted megacity. While passing through, they face an obstacle, a strange container with someone inside. Zombies suddenly emerge, leading to a gruesome massacre. The group skillfully defeats them, but it's later revealed that Dr. Isaac was the mastermind behind the trap. He wanted to acquire Alice for her superhuman abilities, and ordered his staff to disable her. Alice succumbs to the signal initially, but her resistance is eventually detected. In the zombie battle, group members die and LG turns into a monster, and bites Carlos before being shot. Alice fights on despite the satellite's influence, destroying zombies and Umbrella Corp employees. Dr. Isaacs is bitten but gets the antivirus injection before escaping in a helicopter. Alice plans to capture the company helicopter and fly to their destination instead of going to Alaska. Dr. Isaacs gives himself a vaccine in the underground lab, but the clone's genetic material enhances the zombie's strength, and he gets bitten. The corporation decides to eliminate him, but he survives and sprouts tentacles from his arm, killing the lab employees. The survivors need to retrieve a helicopter from the area surrounded by zombies. Carlos starts showing signs of infection, but Alice promises to get the vaccine. It's too late for Carlos, so he plans to detonate a gas tanker to distract the zombies. His companions bid him farewell as he takes the wheel for one final time. A fuel truck races recklessly, causing chaos and destruction. The driver, Carlos, ignites a fuse, resulting in a massive explosion. Alice, Claire, and other survivors flee on helicopter, but Alice chooses to stay and confront her enemies. She discovers the bodies of her clones and becomes consumed with rage. Armed with a machete, she investigates further and encounters the White Queen. The Queen reveals that Dr. Isaacs has been infected and mutated due to Alice's clone serum. Alice realizes her serum can be used as an antidote, but the White Queen warns that Isaacs could kill her. Alice must now face Isaacs to save the world from the zombie apocalypse. Descending into the dark and dangerous quarters, Alice finds a transparent bowl holding her own clone. Suddenly, former Dr. Isaacs attacks her as a terrifying mutant. In the melee, the bowl shatters and Alice ends up with her exact replica, who faints. Alice then battles the mutant, who heals instantly and tries to strangle her with his tentacles. But Alice cuts them off with her machete. Isaacs attacks with his tentacles, but Alice uses her powers to hold them off. Isaacs survives despite being thrown with great force. Alice is determined to defeat Isaacs in a laser chamber and declares herself as the future. The mutated doctor is disintegrated by a laser grid, while Alice narrowly escapes his similar fate. The laser grid abruptly ceases and Alice's duplicate awakens just in time to access the computer. She notes that Alice is the future, leaving the outcome of the situation open-ended. Umbrella Corporation fails to contact North American Station, and CEO realizes they have lost their employees. Despite the loss, research continues. During a board meeting, a projection of Alice appears, revealing she and her thousands of clones are ready to save the world from disaster.